How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna J. White, and this is What About This? So this morning, it is Saturday, I believe June 11th, and 2020. And so you know all that's going on in our communities with standing up against Black Lives Matter and all the political arenas that's happening surrounding the election in November, and also the pandemic and health issues. So we have all of this going on, not to mention that we're slowly opening up our communities again, and growing concern for COVID health is at the top of the list. Well, I was thinking about this today. Boundaries. People seem to be very upset by your boundaries. When you say no, when you make no a sentence, when you politely say that's not in my schedule, can we do another day? It becomes something like to them or to those that are users as an imposition. Okay, let's just say this. Have you ever finished exercising or doing something that you love to do and you relax for the day, and all of a sudden you get a text or you get a voicemail that's left from your mother or your sister or your cousin or someone who relies on you? Hey, can you take me to blah, blah, blah later on at blah, blah, blah? And you have your agenda already set up or your schedule already set up because you know you have to work. Being in the pandemic, you know you have to work. So, what do? If you tell her or them or any of whatever scenario, no, then someone's going to get upset. Or it's 10 p.m. and your phone buzzes and it's a client asking you a question that could have waited until the morning. So you flick your lights on thinking it's something important and it's a client. Or you see texts going on, popping on, and you're at work. You're working, and you're popping on, and it's from your friend. And they're talking about something that's totally random. And you want to make sure that your friend feels supported, but you're too swamped with work to reply. Has any of those things happened to you? I know they have for me, because that's why I'm telling you. Do you know what the uniting thread is? I feel like my boundaries are being crossed. And what do? I politely, the last one, if my friend is venting or sharing random, I wait till I'm finished doing what I need to do, then I answer. Or if a client calls me after hours or instant messages me or private messages me after hours, I respond during business hours and I let them know when I'm working again so that they can be clear on it. And lastly, just saying no. I can't do it. It does not give anyone ill feelings. It doesn't need any explanation. It's just no with a period. A sentence. we have to set up healthy boundaries, because allowing people to just ripshod over you when they feel like it, but yet set boundaries for themselves and are not flexible with their time, and their free time is devoted to their pleasure, and you are a casualty of that, is not acceptable. One risk of not setting healthy boundaries is overextending yourself. And I know you agree, because a lot of us have overextended. When we do rest, when we do take time off, we either feel guilty, or we're not resting enough, or when we rest too much, and we can't seem to get back into the scheme of things. At the end of the day, the only person that gets hurt is you. It's really important to add this very personal piece of self-preservation, self-respect, and self-care, and set it as a healthy boundary, because that takes care of you, it gives you respect, and it preserves your life. So I'm going to give you some scenarios, or maybe some, pointers on what boundaries look like. Because I know, we know the obvious ones that, people taking advantage, but sometimes we don't, because we've been so accustomed or so groomed into crossing those boundaries. So you can always trace back, why you keep allowing others to violate your boundaries, to your past, and from your past experiences, and even up to adult, why that it happened. The one main thing that we completely forget when we're setting our boundaries or knowing that they're being crossed is the gut feeling. When you get that gut feeling, it's like, you get it right in the gut, and you're saying, that feels uncomfortable. I don't think that's right. Well, if you're talking to yourself and you're saying that, it's not right, it's not a think, it's a knowledge that it is right, which is your intuition. So it's telling you this is not right. And so what do you say? No. You don't accept. You don't say, let me see if I can fit it in my schedule. You don't say maybe. You just say no. Nothing's being violated. You're not being mean. It may be uncomfortable because you're not used to using the word no, and you're always allowing people to walk over you like you're a mat that's never been cleaned, never been washed, or never been brand new. So, when that feeling happens, that you now you're being violated, you said no, and you're not being mean. So, afterwards, you start feeling resentful. When you say yes, you start saying, oh God, here she go again. Or when you pick up the phone, oh, here he go again. Or you feel resentful toward that person, and you feel guilty even if you don't comply. So you start asking yourself all these questions. What if they really need me? You start going through this whole gambit of guilt. Then you start feeling imposed upon. Then you start feeling taken advantage of. And then you feel violated and angry. And pretty soon, what's going to happen is that you're not going to be able to articulate your emotions, and your emotions are going to take control. And because they personally encroached you, you are now going to be angry, and what you say that comes out of your mouth is not going to be so nice. So I'd rather you say no. Wouldn't you rather say no? And then another thing that comes along with that is the relationship starts to feel unbalanced. so disproportionate. So it's almost one-sided. I had a relationship that I had to let go of that was definitely one-sided. I am a person that supports, loyal to, I wouldn't say a fault, but very loyal. And relationships I learned to now put into and invest in order for them to be balanced. And so that it's not a struggle being friends and authentic and original. But this relationship was so unbalanced that I didn't recognize it at the time, that I supported everything that this friend did, and this friend never supported nothing that I did. And I didn't notice it until I stepped back, because I started to feel all those feelings that I felt the relationship was unbalanced, and I started feeling like resentful and like, what's going on? I'm always being asked to do something, and then when I've asked, there's always, oh, well, I can't do that because I got to do such and such, and my schedule, and and it was because there were inappropriate boundaries, because they put up their boundaries, or so they say they were boundaries, but I think they were control mechanisms to control other people so that they don't encroach on their lives and they have control. But boundaries, when placed effectively, when placed in the intent that they're originally are for, help you to have a balanced life. So what are the benefits of the boundaries, setting better boundaries? Man, it's a delicate process, and it requires practice and mental fortitude, because I'm telling you, when I was learning to set boundaries, I felt begrudgingly against myself. I struggled with it. I struggled with feelings of anger. I struggled with all of those feelings like I'm doing someone wrong. But then I began to feel better, because all of those feelings were just from the past, that if I didn't do something for someone, I was being mean. So that was something carried over that I had to get over, so that I could be uncomfortable to be comfortable. Does that make sense? Because now I can say no. So respectfully, I was being able to say no and setting some great boundaries for myself. One way to push forward through this initial discomfort is to picture the countless benefits you'll get of protecting and preserving your time. Like, I work from home now, and plus I have a side business, and I set boundaries with my friends and my family and my clients to grow my business. If I didn't do that, I would not have a structure to be able to protect my personal time and have a good emotional energy for people who truly matter for me. And that includes myself and my family and friends. If I were to just gobble up my time and distribute my time to useless tasks with those that really didn't benefit from it, or I knew that didn't benefit from it, I would just be a mess in the evening saying, what did I really do? I remember working when I first went to my office. I had a real estate office when I first opened it, and I opened the office, and I used to say, I would look at the papers on the table, and I would go into work, and I'd shuffle them from one side to the other. And one day I was like, wait a minute, I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is shuffling papers from one side of the desk to the other. Nothing is being accomplished. I'm making new piles, but I'm not accomplishing nothing. So what I had to do was set a schedule, set boundaries, set times for when I saw clients and when I didn't see clients and what I was doing, and not drudgingly go through the day, and then I felt more accomplished. So I don't want to be a paper pusher. I want to be accomplished. And I know you want to be accomplished with your time, and you want to have dignity and respect for yourself. And that creates confidence to them. So the benefits of having boundaries is total confidence in what you're doing. Total confidence and expertise in what you are trying to accomplish. So begin setting boundaries. Is the last part of it. I promise you guys. Begin setting boundaries for your personal and your professional. They don't go together. They are separate. Personal and professional time. Even if you don't have things that you like to do, or you don't know what you like to do in your personal time as of yet, set it anyway. Set it for, an hour to do this, an hour to do that. Even if you don't get to it, it's still an hour, and you're not doing something for somebody else. You're doing it for yourself until you figure yourself out. That's how I did it. So in order to set boundaries, balanced and effectively, you have to look inward and understand what were your boundaries like when you were a child. What did your parents teach you about boundaries? People who grew up in a family with a poor and unmeshed boundaries might struggle to set boundaries as adults. So if you don't take a moment to unpack what you were taught about boundary setting, it can be a confusing place. I say always sit down, go inward and unpack. Sit down, go inward and unpack. Whatever is troubling you, sit down, go inward and unpack. Why do you have a problem about saying no? Is it because you go back to being a small child and that child says, well, they're not going to love me if I don't do it? That's a really important reaction to be inward about and understanding. And coaching and counseling can help you do that. So that you can always seek out that. If you need to set boundaries, that is a goal in your life. Seek out life coaching, seek out counseling. It can definitely help you move forward. Okay, so make sure that your boundary that you're setting is worth setting. Sometimes we set boundaries that we are not sure or not concerned about because we can set them. A boundary is just like any other goal. What is the outcome I want? So at the end, for me, with my working from home and my side business, the outcome of controlling my time and setting boundaries and answering calls that are necessary during the course of the day and setting my goals is the outcome I want is that I am more productive and I get more done and I am result driven and I am completing a task. So that's the outcome I want. Is my self-respect in place? Absolutely. When I set those boundaries during my work hours and then I work at my side business, I am creating self-respect. Absolutely. How important is it to this relationship? If I have a relationship with someone and all my customers and clients, they know that I am about my expert professional business. They know that they can't mishandle me and I won't mishandle them. So answer those 3 questions when you're setting boundaries that are worth setting. What is the outcome I want? Is my respect on the line? And how important is this relationship? Remember to speak as clearly as possible. Clarity is key. Speak simple. I'm all about speaking practical. I don't like to speak above anyone's head. Although I can, I choose not to because it's not my original self. I choose to be who I am, authentic, and I don't want no gray area. And if there's a gray area, when I'm speaking, it's because the gray area is within the person that's receiving. because I try my best to be as clear as possible, as plain as possible, so that nothing is misinterpreted. So, for me, instead of saying I'm so swamped at work, I'll get back to you later, I say I'd love to talk to you today. I'll call you tomorrow afternoon when I'm caught up with work. So it's always, a better way to verbalize some things, and always frame your conversation in a positive light. Like, I have a sister who actually calls me and multiple times, unless she's not busy herself, and it tends to interrupt me, whether I'm either in the shower, I'm sleeping, or I'm eating, or something, or I'm at work. And I love my sisters, so what I do is I'll answer the call, or I'll call her right back. If I'm indisposed, I'll call her right back and say, "Sis, let me call you back. I'm glad you're doing okay today, and let's talk in a little bit." And that keeps her at bay for a little bit, and then I can talk to her at full length if need be. So it's always a way to positively put a spin on your conversation. I'm getting tongue-tied now. But it's not always good to say, "Please stop calling me. I'm so busy I can't get anything done with you bugging me." That's a very negative approach, and it will absolutely get what you don't want, which is them being angry with you. And you want the positivity to continue. You want to watch your attitude. You know those negative emotions we were talking about earlier, or I was discussing with you? Those negative emotions can come across, and because they've crossed the boundaries before, your emotions are on high alert. And when they're on high alert, you tend to communicate in an ineffective way. So it could be unintentional, but it can also lead to, conversations that are not positive and are not taken clearly because your boundaries were affected. So it's important to try to remove any anger, resentment, hostility from your voice. Get to the tone of calm and confidence, and make your requests known. I always say, and I always try to teach myself to be calm, because every situation needs calmness. Emotionalism is just little things, energy going around in your body, pinging off the sides of your insides and waiting for your mouth to open for it to fly out. When you're calm, you stop that energy from moving around, and you focus that energy and its clarity, and it comes out in words that can be used or effectively received. And the last thing of all is learn to check in with yourself. See, we go about this life and we're so busy about, checking in on other people and having a great time and saying no to them, saying yes to them, and think you're doing your civic duty and think you're doing what God wants you to do, and you're running around frazzled to the very end, and all the while your boundaries are being violated and you're allowing it. Boundary setting doesn't mean saying no to every single thing we don't want to do. Sometimes we say yes to things we may not want to say yes to because close relatives or relationships are important. To ensure you aren't going overboard and your boundary setting is on point, it's important to regularly take time for introspection. Make sure that your relationship with yourself is balanced and you feel comfortable enough to say no when no is necessary, and to say yes when yes is necessary. This is Edna J. White. Stop struggling, get started, and be balanced. What about this? Look for me on Facebook at Life Purpose Coaching or Edna J. White. And also, if you'd like to be part of my magazine, Speak Mags on Facebook, please, I promote artists, poets, writers, and authors. It's promotions around the world. It's an online magazine as well as an Amazon annual magazine. So if you are interested, please do so. Write me. My email is ednajwhite11@gmail.com, and I will take your submissions. If you would like coaching of any type, send me an email. Go to my website. It's listed right here on the What About This anchor site, and I'll be glad to stop by and say words of inspiration. Again, this is Edna J. White signing off. What about this?
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play, like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.